Picture this. You're rushing to the most important job interview of your life when you see someone who desperately needs help. Do you stop and risk everything, or do you keep walking? Emily Carter made a choice that changed her destiny forever. She helped a stranger in a wheelchair and lost her dream job, but found something far more precious. Before we dive into this incredible story, please subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and let me know in the comments where you're watching from. The morning sun streamed through Emily's tiny apartment window as she stared at her reflection one last time. The morning sun streamed through Emily's tiny apartment window as she stared at her reflection one last time. Her hands trembled as she adjusted the collar of her only professional blazer, a thrift store find she'd carefully mended the night before. "You can do this," she whispered to herself, practicing her smile in the cracked mirror. From the bedroom came her mother's weak cough, followed by a gentle voice. "Emily, honey, is that you getting ready?" Emily's heart clenched. She walked to the doorway where her mother, Margaret, lay propped up against pillows, her once vibrant face now pale and drawn from months of illness. "Yes, Mom. The interview's at 10. Emily sat on the bed's edge, taking her mother's frail hand. "Blake Industries, remember? The marketing position." Margaret squeezed her daughter's fingers with what little strength she had. "I'm so proud of you, sweetheart. Your father would be too." Emily's eyes misted. Since her father's death 2 years ago, she'd been working 3 part-time jobs just to keep up with her mother's medical bills and rent. This interview at Blake Industries wasn't just an opportunity, it was their lifeline. The salary would cover everything, Mom. Your treatments, a better apartment, maybe even that specialist in Boston you need to see. Don't put so much pressure on yourself, baby. Things have a way of working out. Emily kissed her mother's forehead, breathing in the familiar scent of lavender lotion. "I love you. Mrs. Rodriguez will check on you while I'm gone." She grabbed her worn leather purse, another thrift store treasure, and headed for the door. Inside were copies of her resume, printed at the library, and exactly $12. Enough for subway fare and maybe a coffee if the interview went well. The morning air was crisp as Emily hurried down the cracked sidewalk of their Brooklyn neighborhood. Children played in the small park across the street, while elderly men sat on stoops, watching the world wake up. This was home, but Emily dreamed of something better. Not for herself, but for her mother. On the subway, she reviewed her notes one final time. Blake Industries was a Fortune 500 company known for innovative marketing campaigns, and more importantly, excellent employee benefits. The health insurance alone would be life-changing. Emily thought about the company's CEO, someone named O. Blake. She'd tried researching them online, but found surprisingly little personal information. The business magazines called them intensely private and brilliant but reclusive. All Emily cared about was impressing whoever would be conducting her interview. As the train pulled into Manhattan, Emily's phone buzzed. A text from her best friend Sarah. "You've got this, girl. Remember, confidence is key. They'd be lucky to have you." Emily smiled, feeling a surge of determination. She'd graduated summa cum laude from community college while working full-time. She'd managed social media for 3 small businesses simultaneously. She had ideas, passion, and most importantly, she had everything to fight for. The Blake Industries building towered 40 stories above the bustling street. Emily stood on the sidewalk, craning her neck to see the top, feeling both intimidated and exhilarated. Glass and steel reached toward the clouds, reflecting the morning sun like a beacon of possibility. She checked her phone. 9:15 a.m. Perfect timing. Enough to grab that coffee and review her presentation one more time. But as Emily approached the building's revolving doors, she noticed something that made her pause. Across the street, a woman in a wheelchair seemed to be struggling. She was well-dressed in an expensive-looking business suit, but her wheelchair appeared to be stuck in a crack in the sidewalk. The woman was pushing against the wheels, clearly frustrated, while dozens of people walked past without stopping. Emily glanced at her phone again, 9:18 a.m. She had plenty of time. The woman tried again to free her wheelchair, and Emily could see the strain on her face even from across the street. No one else seemed to notice or care. The morning rush of Manhattan continued around her like she was invisible. Emily's mother's voice echoed in her mind. Always help others when you can, sweetheart. Kindness costs nothing but means everything. Without hesitation, Emily looked both ways and crossed the street. "Excuse me," she called out, approaching the woman. "Do you need some help?" The woman looked up, and Emily was struck by her piercing green eyes and the mixture of frustration and surprise on her face. She was probably in her early 30s, with auburn hair pulled back in an elegant bun and features that belonged in a magazine. Yes, actually. My wheel seems to be caught." The woman's voice was cultured, with just a hint of vulnerability beneath the polished exterior. Emily knelt down to examine the situation. The wheelchair's front wheel was indeed wedged in a deep crack in the sidewalk, and the angle made it impossible for the woman to free herself. "Okay. I think if you lean back slightly, I can lift the front and pull you out," Emily suggested. "Are you sure?" "I don't want you to hurt yourself," Emily smiled. "I'm stronger than I look, trust me." Working together, they managed to free the wheelchair in less than a minute. The woman rolled back slightly, testing her mobility, relief evident on her face. "Thank you so much. I was starting to think I'd be stuck there all morning." The woman extended her hand. "I'm Olivia." "Emily," she replied, shaking the offered hand and noticing how soft it was. Clearly someone who'd never done manual labor. "Are you okay? Do you need help getting anywhere?" Olivia glanced at the Blake Industries building across the street, then back at Emily. "Actually, I'm headed to that building. But I can manage from here. You've done more than enough." Emily followed her gaze to the imposing structure. "What a coincidence. I'm going there too. Job interview." Something flickered across Olivia's face, an expression Emily couldn't quite read. "Really? Well, good luck. I hope it goes well for you." "Thank you. And hey, if you ever need help again, don't hesitate to ask. Most people are good. They just get caught up in their own world sometimes." Olivia studied Emily's face intently. "You're very kind. That's rare in this city." Emily checked her phone. 9:28 a.m., still good on time, but she should probably head in soon. "I should probably get going," Emily said. "Don't want to be late for the most important interview of my life, of course. Good luck, Emily." As Emily walked back across the street, she felt good about her choice to help. Her mother would be proud. Sometimes doing the right thing was its own reward, regardless of the outcome. She entered the Blake Industries lobby, a soaring space of marble and glass that made her feel very small. The receptionist, a polished woman in her 50s, looked up with a professional smile. "Good morning. How can I help you?" "Hi, I'm Emily Carter. I have a 10 a.m. interview for the marketing coordinator position." The receptionist checked her computer, and Emily noticed her expression change slightly. "I'm sorry, Ms. Carter, but I'm afraid there's been a development with that position." Emily's heart sank. "A development?" "The interview has been postponed indefinitely. I apologize for any inconvenience." The words hit Emily like a physical blow. She stood there, processing what she'd just heard, feeling her dreams crumble around her. Is there any way to reschedule? I really need this opportunity." The receptionist's expression softened with genuine sympathy. "I'm sorry, dear. The decision came from the very top. There's nothing I can do." Emily nodded numbly, turned around, and walked back out into the morning sun. On the sidewalk, she pulled out her phone to call her mother, but her hands were shaking too much to dial. She had no way of knowing that across the street, Olivia Blake sat in her wheelchair, watching through the window of a coffee shop, her own heart breaking for the kind stranger who had just lost everything. Emily stood on the sidewalk outside Blake Industries, staring at her phone screen without really seeing it. The morning that had started with such hope now felt like a cruel joke. She'd been so close, so incredibly close, to changing everything for her and her mother. Her hands finally stopped shaking enough to dial home. "Emily, how did it go, sweetheart?" Her mother's voice was bright with anticipation. Emily closed her eyes, fighting back tears. They postponed it, Mom. Indefinitely." Silence on the other end, then a gentle sigh. "Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. I don't understand what happened. Everything seemed perfect." The timing, the qualifications. Emily's voice cracked. What am I going to tell Mrs. Rodriguez? She was so excited for us. You're going to tell her that sometimes life has different plans than we do, and that we'll figure it out, just like we always have. Emily wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. I should come home. Maybe I can pick up an extra shift at the diner. Take a walk first, baby. Clear your head. The city's beautiful this time of morning. After hanging up, Emily wandered aimlessly through the streets of Manhattan. The business district buzzed with purpose around her. People in expensive suits hurrying to meetings, closing deals, building careers. She felt like a ghost among them, invisible and irrelevant. She found herself in a small park, sitting on a bench watching pigeons fight over breadcrumbs. The irony wasn't lost on her. Excuse me, are you Emily? Emily looked up to see Olivia approaching in her wheelchair, looking concerned. Up close, in better light, Emily could see she was even more beautiful than she'd first noticed. Her business suit was clearly designer, and there was an elegance about her that spoke of wealth and refinement. Olivia, hi. Emily quickly wiped her face, hoping her tears weren't obvious. What are you doing here? I saw you leave the building. You looked upset. Olivia positioned her wheelchair next to the bench. Did your interview not go well? Emily let out a bitter laugh. There was no interview. They postponed it indefinitely. Apparently the decision came from the very top. She made air quotes, unable to hide her frustration. Olivia's expression grew troubled. I'm so sorry to hear that. You seemed so excited about the opportunity. I was. This job, it would have changed everything for my family. Emily found herself opening up to this near stranger. Maybe it was Olivia's kind eyes. Or maybe she just needed someone to listen. My mom's been sick for months. The medical bills are crushing us, and I've been working 3 part-time jobs just to keep our heads above water. 3 jobs? Olivia's voice was soft with surprise. Waitressing at a diner, data entry at night, and weekend retail. None of them offer health insurance. Emily stared at the pigeons. I graduated summa cum laude, you know? I have ideas, passion, experience managing social media for small businesses, but none of that matters if you don't have connections or luck. Olivia was quiet for a long moment. What kind of marketing experience do you have? Emily turned to look at her, surprised by the question. Well, I've been running social media campaigns for 3 local businesses, a bakery, a bookstore, and a vintage clothing shop. I increased their online engagement by over 200% in 6 months. I also wrote my senior thesis on digital marketing strategies for small businesses. That's impressive. Olivia seemed genuinely interested. What was your approach? Despite her disappointment, Emily felt herself lighting up as she talked about her work. Authentic storytelling. People don't want to be sold to anymore. They want to connect with brands that share their values. I focused on highlighting the human stories behind each business. The baker who learned recipes from her grandmother, the bookstore owner who hosts reading groups for seniors, the vintage shop that donates clothes to women re-entering the workforce. Olivia's eyes brightened. That's exactly the kind of thinking the industry needs more of. Fat lot of good it does me now, Emily said, her momentary enthusiasm fading. I should probably head home. My mom will be worried. Wait. Olivia reached into her purse and pulled out an elegant business card. I know this might sound strange, but I have a proposition for you. Emily took the card and nearly dropped it. In elegant script it read, Olivia Blake, CEO, Blake Industries. Emily's mouth fell open. You're the CEO? You're O. Blake? Olivia nodded, looking almost embarrassed. I was on my way to the office this morning when you helped me. I was actually planning to sit in on some of the interviews today, including yours. Oh my God. Emily's mind raced. So when they said the decision came from the very top, that was me. But not for the reason you think. Olivia leaned forward earnestly. Emily, in the 15 minutes we spent together this morning, you showed me more genuine kindness than I've experienced in months. You stopped to help a stranger when you had every reason to focus on yourself. That tells me more about your character than any interview could. Emily stared at her, trying to process this revelation. I don't understand. If you were impressed, why was the interview canceled? Because I have a different offer for you. Olivia's voice grew more confident. I need a personal assistant, someone I can trust, someone with fresh ideas, someone who sees people as more than just business opportunities. The salary is significantly higher than the marketing position, and the benefits package includes full medical coverage for you and your mother. Emily felt like the world had tilted on its axis. Are you serious? Completely. I've been looking for the right person for months. Most candidates are either intimidated by my disability or they treat me like I'm fragile. You treated me like a person who needed help. Nothing more, nothing less. But you don't even know me. What if I'm terrible at the job? Olivia smiled. The first genuine smile Emily had seen from her. Something tells me you're not terrible at anything you put your mind to. Besides, I'm a pretty good judge of character. I didn't build a Fortune 500 company by making bad decisions about people. Emily's heart was racing. What would the job involve? Managing my schedule, handling correspondence, helping with research for board meetings, some travel, and I'd want your input on our marketing strategies. That authentic storytelling approach you mentioned could revolutionize how we connect with our customers. This is incredible. I mean, yes, absolutely. Emily paused. But can I ask you something? Of course. Why were you alone this morning? I mean, don't CEOs usually have drivers and assistants and security? Olivia's expression grew more guarded. I value my independence. I've been in this wheelchair for 3 years, and I refuse to let it define me or limit me. Sometimes that means struggling with a stuck wheel on a sidewalk. She met Emily's eyes. But it also means I get to meet extraordinary people like you. Emily felt a warmth spreading through her chest that had nothing to do with the job offer. When would you want me to start? How about Monday? That gives you time to give notice at your other jobs. Olivia pulled out her phone. I'll have HR send you the formal offer letter and benefits package this afternoon. I can't believe this is happening. Emily shook her head in amazement. This morning I thought my life was falling apart. Funny how quickly things can change. Olivia's green eyes sparkled with something Emily couldn't quite identify. Sometimes the best opportunities come from the most unexpected places. As they exchanged contact information, Emily couldn't shake the feeling that this was about more than just a job. There was something about Olivia Blake, her intelligence, her vulnerability beneath the polished exterior, the way she really listened when Emily spoke, that made her heart beat a little faster. I should let you get back to your day, Emily said, standing up from the bench. And I should call my mom with the good news. Give her my regards, Olivia said. And Emily, thank you. For this morning, I mean. It's been a long time since someone helped me without wanting something in return. As Emily walked away, she turned back once to see Olivia still sitting in the park, watching her with an expression that was both thoughtful and hopeful. Neither of them could have predicted that a simple act of kindness would be the beginning of something that would change both their lives forever. Emily practically floated home on the subway, clutching Olivia's business card like a winning lottery ticket. The morning's devastating disappointment had transformed into the most incredible opportunity of her life. She couldn't wait to see her mother's face when she shared the news. But as the train pulled into her Brooklyn station, reality began to set in. She was going to be working for Olivia Blake, the woman she'd helped on the street, who also happened to be one of the most powerful CEOs in the country. The woman whose green eyes had made Emily's heart skip in a way she wasn't quite ready to examine. "Mom, I'm home," Emily called out as she unlocked their apartment door. "In here, sweetheart?" Margaret's voice came from the living room, where she was sitting in her favorite armchair, a cup of tea growing cold on the side table. Emily rushed over and knelt beside the chair, taking her mother's hands. "Mom, you're not going to believe what happened." Margaret studied her daughter's face, noting the excitement mixed with something else, confusion maybe. "Tell me everything." Emily recounted the entire morning, from the canceled interview to meeting Olivia in the park to the incredible job offer. As she spoke, she watched her mother's expression change from concern to amazement to something that looked almost like worry. "So, this woman, this CEO, offered you a job just like that? After knowing you for what, an hour? I know it sounds crazy, but Mom, you should have seen her. She's brilliant and kind. And when I helped her this morning, it wasn't because I knew who she was. I just saw someone who needed help. Margaret squeezed Emily's hands. And that's exactly why she wants to hire you, baby. Your father always said your biggest strength was your heart. Emily felt tears prick her eyes. The salary is enough to cover your treatments, Mom. All of them. And the health insurance. Oh, sweetheart. Margaret pulled Emily into a hug. I'm so proud of you. But promise me something? Anything. Promise me you'll be careful. Rich, powerful people. Sometimes they live in a different world than we do. Don't lose yourself trying to fit into hers. Emily pulled back, studying her mother's face. What do you mean? I just want you to remember who you are. You're kind and genuine and smart as a whip. Don't let anyone make you feel like you need to be someone else. That evening, Emily called her best friend Sarah to share the news. Wait, Sarah interrupted. You're telling me that the woman you helped on the street was Olivia Blake? The Olivia Blake? You know who she is? Emily. She's like a legend in the business world. She took over Blake Industries when she was 28 after her father died, and she's tripled the company's value in 5 years. She's also notoriously private. There are barely any photos of her online. Emily felt a flutter of nervousness. What else do you know about her? Not much personal stuff. I think she was in some kind of accident a few years ago. That's probably when she ended up in the wheelchair. But Emily, this is huge. Working for her could open doors you never even dreamed of. After hanging up, Emily spent the evening researching Blake Industries online. The company was even more impressive than she'd realized. They had offices in 12 countries and were known for innovative marketing campaigns that had won dozens of industry awards. And at the center of it all was Olivia Blake, described in article after article as brilliant, visionary, and intensely private. Emily found herself staring at the few professional photos available online. Even in formal business portraits, Olivia's green eyes seemed to look right through the camera, intelligent and slightly mysterious. Monday morning arrived faster than Emily expected. She stood outside the Blake Industries building at 8:45 a.m., wearing her best outfit, a navy dress she'd bought for graduation and had worn to every important occasion since. Her hands were sweating as she approached the security desk. Emily Carter to see Olivia Blake, she told the guard. Ms. Blake is expecting you. 42nd floor, executive suite. The elevator ride felt endless. Emily watched the numbers climb, her stomach doing flips with each floor. When the doors finally opened, she stepped into a reception area that looked like something from a magazine. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, modern art on the walls, and furniture that probably cost more than Emily's annual rent. You must be Emily. A woman in her 40s approached with a warm smile. I'm Janet, Ms. Blake's current assistant. She's waiting for you in her office. Janet led Emily down a hallway lined with awards and framed magazine covers featuring Blake Industries' most successful campaigns. At the end of the hall, Janet knocked on a set of double doors. Come in, came Olivia's familiar voice. Emily stepped into an office that took her breath away. The space was enormous, with windows on 2 sides offering panoramic views of Manhattan. But what struck her most was how personal it felt. Family photos on the desk, books scattered around, a small garden of succulents on the windowsill. Olivia was behind her desk, wearing a crisp white blouse and looking every inch the powerful CEO. But when she looked up and smiled, Emily saw the same kind woman from the park. Emily, welcome to Blake Industries. Olivia gestured to the chairs in front of her desk. Please, sit. How are you feeling? Nervous, Emily admitted, and grateful. And maybe a little overwhelmed. Olivia laughed, and the sound made Emily's chest warm. That's perfectly normal. Janet's going to spend the morning showing you around and explaining the systems. This afternoon we'll go over my schedule and discuss some projects I'd like your input on. I brought some ideas, Emily said, pulling a folder from her bag. I stayed up last night researching your recent campaigns, and I had some thoughts about expanding your social media presence. Olivia's eyebrows rose with interest. Already? I'm impressed. Let's save that for this afternoon when we have more time to really dig into it. Janet appeared in the doorway. Ready for the grand tour? As Emily stood to leave, Olivia called her name. Emily, I'm really glad you're here. The warmth in her voice made Emily's heart skip. Me too. The morning flew by in a whirlwind of introductions, system explanations, and office tours. Emily met the marketing team, learned the phone system, and was given access to Olivia's calendar and email. Everyone she met was professional and welcoming, though she noticed a few curious glances. Clearly, word had spread about the new assistant who'd been hired under unusual circumstances. During lunch, Janet filled Emily in on the practical aspects of working for Olivia. She's demanding but fair, Janet explained over salads in the executive dining room. She expects excellence, but she also recognizes and rewards it. And Emily? She's been through a lot. The accident that put her in the wheelchair. It changed her, made her more guarded, more careful about who she trusts. What happened? Emily asked gently. Car accident 3 years ago. She was engaged at the time, and Janet paused. Well, let's just say not everyone can handle being with someone who has a disability. It broke her heart in more ways than one. Emily felt a surge of anger toward someone she'd never met. That's awful. It was, but it also made her stronger and more selective about the people she lets into her life. Janet studied Emily's face. She must see something special in you. That afternoon, Emily sat across from Olivia's desk, presenting her ideas for expanding the company's digital presence. As she spoke, she noticed how intently Olivia listened, asking thoughtful questions and building on Emily's suggestions. This is exactly what we need, Olivia said when Emily finished. Fresh perspective, authentic voice. I want you to work with our marketing team to develop these concepts further. Really? But I just started today. Emily, good ideas don't have a timeline, and you clearly understand something about connecting with people that some of our more experienced staff have forgotten. As the day wound down, Emily found herself reluctant to leave. Working with Olivia felt natural, like they'd been collaborating for years instead of hours. There was an easy rhythm to their interactions, a mutual respect that Emily had never experienced with previous bosses. Same time tomorrow? Olivia asked as Emily gathered her things. Absolutely. And thank you, Olivia, for taking a chance on me. Thank you for giving me a reason to. On the subway ride home, Emily reflected on her first day. The work was challenging and exciting. The environment was inspiring. And Olivia was unlike anyone Emily had ever met. Brilliant and driven, but also kind and surprisingly vulnerable. Emily found herself looking forward to tomorrow in a way that had nothing to do with the salary or benefits, and everything to do with spending more time with the fascinating woman who had already begun to change her life. 3 weeks into her new job, Emily had settled into a rhythm that felt both challenging and natural. She arrived at Blake Industries each morning with genuine excitement, eager to tackle whatever projects Olivia had planned. Their working relationship had evolved into something that felt more like a partnership than a traditional boss-employee dynamic. Emily was reviewing Olivia's schedule for the following week when her phone buzzed with a text from her mother. Doctor's appointment went well. New treatment is working. Thank you for making this possible, sweetheart. Emily smiled, feeling a warmth that had nothing to do with professional success. For the first time in months, her mother was getting better, and Emily could sleep at night without worrying about medical bills. Good news? Olivia asked, rolling her wheelchair closer to Emily's desk, which was positioned just outside her office. My mom's treatment is working. The doctors are optimistic. Emily looked up to find Olivia watching her with genuine interest. I can't thank you enough for making this possible. You don't need to thank me, Emily. You've earned every bit of this opportunity. Olivia paused, seeming to consider something. Actually, I have a proposition for you. Emily raised an eyebrow. Another one? The last one worked out pretty well. Olivia laughed, and Emily noticed how her whole face lit up when she did. This one's different. I have a business dinner tomorrow night with some potential investors. It's at Le Bernardin. Very formal, very important. I usually attend these things alone, but I could use someone there who understands our new marketing direction. You want me to come to a business dinner? Emily felt a flutter of nervousness. I'm not sure I'm qualified for that level of... Emily. Olivia's voice was gentle but firm. You've revolutionized our social media strategy in 3 weeks. You understand our brand better than people who've been here for years. I need your perspective, not your pedigree. Emily bit her lip, thinking. What would I need to wear? I don't exactly have a wardrobe for fancy restaurants. Leave that to me. What size are you? Olivia, I can't let you buy me clothes. Consider it a business expense. You're representing Blake Industries. Olivia's green eyes sparkled with something that looked like mischief. Besides, I have excellent taste. The next evening, Emily stood in front of her bedroom mirror, hardly recognizing herself. The dress Olivia had sent was perfect. A midnight blue cocktail dress that was elegant without being flashy, professional yet feminine. It fit like it had been made for her. Her mother appeared in the doorway, moving more easily than she had in months. "Oh, sweetheart, you look absolutely beautiful." "It's just a business dinner," Emily said, but she couldn't hide her excitement. Margaret's knowing smile suggested she wasn't entirely convinced. "This Olivia of yours has good taste. She's not my Olivia, Mom. She's my boss." "If you say so, dear." Emily arrived at Le Bernardin to find Olivia already seated at a corner table, wearing a stunning black dress that complemented her auburn hair perfectly. She looked up as Emily approached, and her expression made Emily's heart skip. "You look incredible," Olivia said softly. "Thank you." "So do you." Emily slid into the chair across from her, trying to ignore the way Olivia's compliment made her feel. "The investors should be here in about 10 minutes. Marcus Webb and Patricia Chen. They're considering funding our expansion into sustainable packaging. I want them to understand that we're not just talking about environmental responsibility. We're talking about authentic brand storytelling." As Emily listened to Olivia outline the evening's strategy, she was struck by how passionate Olivia became when discussing the company's future. Her eyes lit up, her hands moved expressively, and Emily found herself captivated by more than just the business plan. Marcus and Patricia arrived precisely on time. A silver-haired man in an expensive suit, and a sharp-eyed woman who Emily immediately recognized as someone who didn't suffer fools gladly. "Marcus, Patricia, I'd like you to meet Emily Carter, my assistant and our new marketing strategist," Olivia said as they settled at the table. Emily felt a surge of pride at being introduced as more than just an assistant. Throughout dinner, Olivia consistently asked for her input, treating her as an equal partner in the conversation. When Patricia questioned whether consumers would actually pay more for sustainable packaging, Emily found herself speaking with confidence about authentic brand values and consumer psychology. "Interesting perspective," Marcus said, studying Emily with new attention. "How long have you been in marketing?" "Officially? About a month," Emily admitted. "But I've been thinking about how to connect with people my whole life." Patricia laughed. "Honesty, I like that. Too many consultants try to impress us with jargon and credentials." As the evening progressed, Emily noticed how naturally she and Olivia worked together, building on each other's ideas, finishing each other's thoughts. When Olivia mentioned their social media success, Emily seamlessly provided the specific metrics. When Emily talked about authentic storytelling, Olivia connected it to their broader business strategy. "You two make quite a team," Patricia observed during dessert. "It's refreshing to see a CEO who actually listens to fresh perspectives." After Marcus and Patricia left, with a promise to seriously consider the investment, Emily and Olivia lingered over coffee. "That went incredibly well," Olivia said, her eyes bright with excitement. "You were amazing tonight, Emily. The way you handled Patricia's questions about consumer behavior. I was just being honest about what I think people want. That's exactly what made it so powerful." Olivia leaned forward slightly. "Emily, I have to ask you something, and I want you to be completely honest with me." Emily's heart rate picked up. "Okay. Do you feel like I'm taking advantage of you? Moving too fast? Giving you responsibilities beyond what you signed up for?" Emily considered the question seriously. "No. If anything, I feel like you're giving me opportunities to grow that I never would have had anywhere else. Why do you ask?" Olivia was quiet for a moment, turning her coffee cup in her hands. "Because I've never worked with anyone the way I work with you. It feels effortless, natural. And I don't want you to feel pressured to be more than my assistant, if that's not what you want." "What if it is what I want?" Emily asked softly. "What if I want to be more involved in the business, to really contribute to something meaningful?" Olivia's smile was radiant. "Then I'd say we should talk about restructuring your role. Marketing coordinator, maybe even marketing director eventually." "Really?" "Emily, In 3 weeks, you've brought more innovation to our marketing strategy than we've seen in 3 years. You have instincts that can't be taught, and a perspective that's invaluable. As they waited for their cars outside the restaurant, Emily felt a contentment she'd never experienced before. The evening had been perfect, professionally successful, and personally fulfilling in ways she was still trying to understand. "Thank you for tonight," she said, as Olivia's car pulled up. "For including me, for trusting me with something so important." "Thank you for being exactly who you are," Olivia replied. "I'll see you Monday?" "Absolutely." As Emily watched Olivia's car disappear into the Manhattan traffic, she realized that somewhere between helping a stranger on the street and sharing ideas over dinner, her feelings had shifted into territory that had nothing to do with work and everything to do with the remarkable woman who was changing her life in ways she was only beginning to understand. On the subway ride home, Emily found herself replaying every moment of the evening, not the business discussions, but the way Olivia had looked at her when she arrived, the pride in her voice when introducing her to the investors, the warmth in her eyes when she talked about their partnership. Emily was falling for her boss, and she had no idea what to do about it. 2 months into working at Blake Industries, Emily had found her rhythm. Her official title was now marketing coordinator, and she split her time between managing Olivia's schedule and developing innovative campaigns that had already increased the company's social media engagement by 300%. But it was the quiet moments that meant the most to Emily. The early morning conversations over coffee, the late evening strategy sessions, the way Olivia's face lit up when Emily shared a new idea. Their professional relationship had deepened into something that felt like genuine friendship, though Emily was increasingly aware of the undercurrent of something more. On a rainy Thursday afternoon, Emily was reviewing campaign analytics when Olivia emerged from her office looking frustrated. "The Henderson account is being impossible," Olivia said, running her hands through her hair. "They want us to completely redesign their brand identity, but they won't tell us what they actually want." Emily looked up from her computer. "Want to talk through it? Sometimes a fresh perspective helps." "Actually, I was thinking of something different." Olivia seemed almost nervous. "Would you like to come to my apartment tonight? We could order dinner, spread out all the Henderson materials, really dig into it without office distractions." Emily's heart skipped. In all their time working together, they'd never spent time outside the office beyond business dinners. "That sounds great." "What time?" 7? I'll text you the address." That evening, Emily stood outside a sleek apartment building on the Upper East Side, feeling underdressed in her work clothes. The doorman directed her to the penthouse, and when the elevator doors opened, Emily stepped into a space that took her breath away. Olivia's apartment was nothing like Emily had expected. Instead of cold, corporate luxury, it was warm and inviting. Exposed brick walls, comfortable furniture, bookshelves everywhere, and plants in every corner. Soft jazz played in the background, and the smell of something delicious wafted from the kitchen. "I hope you like Thai food," Olivia called out, appearing from the kitchen. She'd changed from her business attire into jeans and a soft sweater, and Emily was struck by how relaxed and approachable she looked. "I love it. This place is amazing, Olivia. It's so... you. What did you expect? A sterile corporate showcase?" Emily laughed. "Maybe a little. This is much better." They settled on the couch with takeout containers spread across the coffee table, Henderson account materials scattered around them. But as the evening progressed, Emily found herself more interested in learning about Olivia than discussing marketing strategies. "Can I ask you something personal?" Emily said during a lull in their work discussion. Olivia tensed slightly. "Depends on how personal." "What made you want to take over the company? You could have done anything with your life." Olivia was quiet for a moment, twirling pad thai around her fork. "My father built Blake Industries from nothing. When he died, everyone expected me to sell it, especially after..." She gestured toward her wheelchair. "But this company represents everything he believed in. Innovation, integrity, treating employees like family. I couldn't let that disappear. It must have been incredibly difficult, taking over so young and dealing with your accident at the same time." "The accident was actually the easy part," Olivia said with a bitter laugh. "Learning to navigate the world in a wheelchair, adapting to physical limitations, that was challenging but manageable. It was the people who couldn't handle it that nearly broke me." Emily set down her fork, giving Olivia her full attention. What do you mean? I was engaged when the accident happened. David and I had been together for 3 years, planning our wedding. Olivia's voice grew quiet. He tried to be supportive at first, but as it became clear that my paralysis was permanent, he changed. Started treating me like I was fragile, making decisions for me, talking about me like I wasn't in the room. Emily felt anger rising in her chest. That's awful. The final straw was when he suggested I step down from the company and focus on getting better, as if being in a wheelchair was something I could recover from with enough rest. Olivia met Emily's eyes. I realized he'd fallen in love with the idea of me, not who I actually was. When that idea changed, his feelings changed too. I'm sorry you went through that, but you know that says everything about him and nothing about you, right? Olivia smiled sadly. Intellectually, yes. Emotionally, it's harder. It made me very careful about letting people get close. Emily felt a pang of understanding. I get that. After my dad died, I built walls too. Different reasons, but the same result, keeping people at a distance to avoid getting hurt. What changed for you? Emily looked around the warm, inviting apartment, then back at Olivia. This job, you've reminded me that taking risks can lead to beautiful things. Something shifted in the air between them. Olivia's green eyes searched Emily's face, and Emily felt her heart racing. Emily, Olivia said softly, I need to tell you something, okay? Working with you these past 2 months, it's been the best part of my day, every day. You're brilliant and kind, and you see possibilities where others see problems. But more than that, Olivia paused, seeming to gather courage. You make me feel like myself again. Not the CEO, not the woman in the wheelchair, just me. Emily's breath caught. Olivia, I know this complicates things. I know I'm your boss and there are professional considerations, but I can't pretend anymore that what I feel for you is purely professional. Emily's heart was pounding so hard she was sure Olivia could hear it. What are you saying? I'm saying I'm falling for you, Emily. Have been since that first morning when you helped me without knowing who I was or what I could do for you. Olivia's voice was vulnerable, uncertain. And I'm terrified because I don't know if you could ever see me as more than your boss, or if my disability makes the idea of being with me. Stop. Emily moved closer on the couch, taking Olivia's hands in hers. Don't you dare finish that sentence. Olivia looked up, hope and fear warring in her expression. Olivia, your wheelchair isn't something I have to get past or deal with. It's just part of who you are, like your incredible mind or your terrible taste in coffee or the way you scrunch your nose when you're concentrating. Emily smiled through tears she didn't realize had started falling. And who you are is the most amazing person I've ever met. Emily, I'm falling for you too, Emily whispered. So hard it scares me, not because of your disability, but because I've never felt anything this intense before. You're brilliant and beautiful, and you challenge me to be better than I ever thought I could be. Olivia's eyes filled with tears. Really? Instead of answering with words, Emily leaned forward and kissed her. It was soft and tentative at first, then deeper as Olivia responded, her hands coming up to frame Emily's face. When they broke apart, both were breathing hard. This changes everything, Olivia whispered. I know. We'll have to be careful at work, professional boundaries, HR policies. Emily smiled. We'll figure it out. We're pretty good at solving problems together. Olivia laughed, the sound bright with joy and relief. We are, aren't we? They spent the rest of the evening talking about their fears, their hopes, their growing feelings for each other. When Emily finally left near midnight, she felt like she was floating. On the subway ride home, she replayed every moment of the evening, especially that perfect first kiss. She thought about how natural it had felt to hold Olivia's hands, how right it seemed to finally acknowledge what had been building between them for weeks. Emily was falling in love with her boss, and for the first time in her life, she wasn't afraid of where those feelings might lead. The Monday morning after their evening together felt charged with new energy. Emily arrived at the office early, nervous about how things would be between them in a professional setting. When Olivia emerged from the elevator, their eyes met across the reception area, and Emily felt that familiar flutter in her chest. "Good morning, Emily," Olivia said, her voice carefully professional, but her eyes warm. "Good morning, Ms. Blake," Emily replied, playing along with the formality while fighting back a smile. They managed to maintain professional boundaries throughout the morning, but Emily was hyper-aware of every interaction. The way Olivia's fingers brushed hers when passing documents, the lingering looks when they thought no one was watching, the electricity that seemed to crackle between them during their strategy meeting. At lunch, Emily was eating a sandwich at her desk when her phone buzzed with a text from Olivia. "Dinner tonight? My place again? I promise to actually cook this time." Emily typed back, "I'd love that. What can I bring?" "Just yourself, and maybe that smile you've been hiding all morning." Emily grinned at her phone, then quickly looked around to make sure no one had noticed. That evening, Emily arrived at Olivia's apartment to find the dining table, set with candles and fresh flowers. The smell of something incredible wafted from the kitchen. "You really did cook," Emily said, impressed. "Lemon herb salmon with roasted vegetables. I may be a CEO, but I'm also Italian. Cooking is in my DNA." Olivia appeared from the kitchen, wearing an apron over a casual dress, looking more beautiful than Emily had ever seen her. "It smells amazing. Can I help with anything? Just keep me company while I finish up." Emily perched on a stool at the kitchen island, watching Olivia move around the kitchen with practiced ease. It was intimate in a way that made Emily's heart race, seeing this domestic side of the woman who commanded boardrooms and made million-dollar decisions. "I've been thinking about us all day," Olivia said, not looking up from the vegetables she was plating. "Good thoughts, I hope." "Complicated thoughts." Olivia finally met her eyes. "Emily, I need you to understand something. I've never dated an employee before. I've never even been tempted to. But with you, it's different," Emily finished. "I know. I feel it too." They moved to the dining room, where Olivia had created an atmosphere that was romantic yet comfortable. As they ate, their conversation flowed as naturally as it always had, but now there was an undercurrent of awareness, of possibility. "This is incredible," Emily said, taking another bite of salmon. "Where did you learn to cook like this?" "My grandmother. She insisted that everyone in the family learn to cook, regardless of gender or future career plans. 'Food is love,' she used to say." "She sounds wonderful." "She was. She would have liked you." Olivia paused, her fork halfway to her mouth. "Actually, she would have loved you. She always said the best people were the ones who helped others without expecting anything in return." After dinner, they moved to the couch with wine, the conversation gradually becoming more personal, more intimate. "Can I ask you something?" Emily said, curled up on one end of the couch facing Olivia. "Always." "Are you afraid? About us, I mean?" Olivia was quiet for a long moment, swirling wine in her glass. "Terrified," she admitted. "Not of you, but of everything else. The complications, the potential for things to go wrong, the way it could affect your career if people think you're only successful because we're involved." Emily set down her wine glass and moved closer. "Olivia, look at me." Olivia met her eyes, vulnerability clear in her expression. "I'm not afraid of complications. I'm not afraid of what people might think. The only thing I'm afraid of is not giving this a real chance because we're too scared to try. But what if it doesn't work out? What if we ruin what we have professionally?" Emily reached for Olivia's hands. "What if it does work out? What if we're amazing together in every way?" Olivia's breath caught. "Emily, I know it's scary. I know there are risks. But Olivia, what we have is special. I've never felt this connected to anyone. Never felt like someone understood me the way you do." "I feel the same way," Olivia whispered, "but I'm so afraid of messing this up." "You're the best thing that's happened to me in years, professionally and personally. If I lose you, you're not going to lose me." Emily moved even closer until their knees were touching. "But we have to be honest about what we want. Do you want to try? Really try?" Olivia searched Emily's face, as if looking for any sign of doubt or hesitation more than anything. "But Emily, there are things you need to know about being with me. practical things. Like what? Dating someone in a wheelchair isn't always easy. There are accessibility issues, medical considerations, people who stare or make assumptions. Olivia's voice grew smaller. Sometimes I need help with things, and that can be hard for people to handle. Emily felt a surge of protectiveness. Olivia, do you think I care about any of that? I don't know. David said he didn't care either at first. Emily cupped Olivia's face gently. I am not David. I'm not going anywhere because things aren't always easy. Easy is boring. Easy doesn't challenge you to grow. Olivia leaned into Emily's touch, closing her eyes. I want to believe that. Then believe it. Trust me. Trust us. When Olivia opened her eyes, they were bright with unshed tears. Okay. Yes. I want to try. Emily smiled and leaned forward to kiss her, soft and sweet at first, then deeper as Olivia responded. When they broke apart, both were breathing hard. So what happens now? Olivia asked. Now we figure it out as we go. We're smart, capable women. I think we can handle dating each other. Olivia laughed, the sound bright with relief and joy. When you put it like that, it sounds simple. The best things usually are, once you stop overthinking them. They spent the rest of the evening talking about practical considerations, how to handle their relationship at work, when, and how to tell HR, how to maintain professional boundaries while exploring their personal connection. We'll need to be discreet at first, Olivia said. Not because I'm ashamed, but because I want to protect you from any gossip or speculation about your motives. I understand. And Olivia, I want you to know that whatever happens between us personally, I'm committed to my job. I love the work we do together, and I won't let our relationship compromise that. I know. That's one of the things I love about you, your integrity. Emily's heart skipped at the word love, even used casually. One of the things? Olivia smiled, her eyes sparkling with mischief. I could make a list, but we'd be here all night. I have nowhere else I'd rather be. As the evening wound down, Emily felt a contentment she'd never experienced before. The fear was still there. This was uncharted territory for both of them, but it was overshadowed by excitement and hope. When Emily finally left, Olivia kissed her goodnight at the door, soft and lingering. Sweet dreams, Emily. Sweet dreams, Olivia. On the subway ride home, Emily reflected on how much her life had changed in just a few months. She'd gone from struggling to make ends meet to having a career she loved, and falling for an incredible woman who challenged and inspired her every day. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in years, Emily was excited to see where it would lead. 6 months later, Emily stood in the bathroom of Blake Industries, staring at her reflection in the mirror. Today was the day of the company's annual board meeting, where she would be presenting the marketing strategy that had transformed Blake Industries' brand presence. More importantly, it was the day she and Olivia had decided to go public with their relationship. Emily's hands trembled slightly as she adjusted her blazer, a beautiful navy piece that Olivia had surprised her with last week, saying it brought out her eyes. The past 6 months had been a whirlwind of professional growth and personal discovery. Their relationship had deepened beyond anything Emily had ever imagined possible. You've got this, she whispered to her reflection, thinking of her mother's words from that morning. Your father would be so proud of the woman you've become. Margaret's health had improved dramatically with the new treatments, and she'd even started volunteering at a local literacy center. The transformation in both their lives still felt surreal sometimes. Emily's phone buzzed with a text from Olivia. Ready to change the world together? Emily smiled, typing back, with you, always. The boardroom was packed when Emily entered. 12 board members, senior executives, and department heads filled the polished conference table. At the head sat Olivia, looking every inch the powerful CEO in a charcoal gray suit, her auburn hair pulled back in an elegant chignon. Ladies and gentlemen, Olivia began, her voice commanding the room's attention. I'd like to present our marketing coordinator, Emily Carter, who will be sharing the results of our new brand strategy. Emily stepped forward, her initial nervousness melting away as she began to speak. This was her element now. Presenting ideas, sharing vision, connecting with people through authentic storytelling. 6 months ago, Blake Industries was seen as a traditional corporate entity, Emily began, clicking to her first slide. Today, We're recognized as an innovative, socially conscious brand that puts people first. Our social media engagement has increased by 400%, our brand sentiment scores have improved by 60%, and most importantly, we've attracted a new generation of consumers who share our values. As Emily presented case studies and metrics, she caught Olivia's eye several times. The pride and admiration in Olivia's gaze gave her confidence. But it was more than that. It was the look of someone who believed in her completely. The key to our success, Emily continued, has been authentic storytelling. We don't just sell products, we share the stories of the people behind them, the communities we serve, and the positive impact we're making together. Board member Patricia Chen, who Emily remembered from that first dinner at Le Bernardin, raised her hand. Emily, these results are impressive. What's your vision for the next phase? Emily smiled, clicking to her final slide. Expansion into sustainable technology partnerships, community-focused initiatives, and most importantly, continuing to put human connection at the center of everything we do. Because at the end of the day, business is about people, and people respond to authenticity. The room erupted in applause, and Emily felt a surge of pride and accomplishment. She'd come so far from the nervous young woman who'd almost missed her chance because she stopped to help a stranger. After the meeting, as board members filed out with congratulations and handshakes, Olivia approached Emily. That was incredible, Olivia said, her voice warm with pride. You commanded that room like you were born for it. I had a good teacher, Emily replied, her heart racing as she realized this was the moment they'd planned for. Olivia took a deep breath, then reached for Emily's hand. Emily, there's something else I want to share with the board. The remaining executives turned back, curious about this unexpected addition. As you all know, Blake Industries has always been about more than just business. We're about building meaningful connections and supporting each other through life's challenges. Olivia's voice was steady, but Emily could feel the slight tremor in her hand. Emily didn't just transform our marketing strategy, she transformed my life. 6 months ago, she helped me when I was stuck on a sidewalk, not knowing who I was or what she might gain from it. That act of kindness led to the best professional partnership I've ever had, and more recently, to something deeply personal. Emily's heart pounded as Olivia continued. Emily and I are in a relationship. We've been dating for several months, and I wanted you to hear it from us directly. Our personal relationship has only strengthened our professional collaboration, and I want to assure you that both Emily's position and her remarkable contributions to this company are based entirely on her merit and talent. The room was silent for a moment, then Patricia Chen started clapping. It's about time, she said with a grin. Anyone with eyes could see how well you two work together. Marcus Webb nodded approvingly. Olivia, your personal happiness has always translated to better leadership, and Emily, your work speaks for itself. As the room filled with congratulations and well wishes, Emily felt tears of joy and relief. They'd done it. They'd stepped into the light together, professionally and personally. Later that evening, Emily and Olivia sat on the couch in Olivia's apartment, still in their business attire, but relaxed and happy. I can't believe we actually did it, Emily said, curled up against Olivia's side. How do you feel? Olivia asked, running her fingers through Emily's hair. Free. Proud. Excited about the future. Emily looked up at Olivia. How about you? Like I can breathe again. Like we can finally be ourselves completely, everywhere. Emily's phone rang, and she saw her mother's name on the screen. Mom, did you watch the live stream? I did, sweetheart, and I'm so proud of you. Both professionally and personally. Margaret's voice was warm with emotion. Olivia, are you there? I'm here, Mrs. Carter, Olivia replied, leaning toward the phone. Welcome to the family, dear. Emily's father always said she'd find someone who appreciated her heart as much as her mind. I think he would have loved you. Olivia's eyes filled with tears. Thank you. That means everything to me. After hanging up, they sat in comfortable silence, processing the magnitude of the day. Emily, Olivia said softly, I need to tell you something. What is it? I love you. I've been wanting to say it for weeks, but I was waiting for the right moment. Olivia cupped Emily's face gently. I love your kindness, your brilliant mind, your terrible jokes, the way you see possibilities where others see problems. I love how you make me want to be better, braver, more open to the world. Emily's heart felt like it might burst with happiness. I love you too, Olivia. So much it sometimes scares me. You've given me a life I never dared to dream of. Not just the job or the opportunities, but the chance to be with someone who sees all of me and loves me anyway. They kissed then, soft and sweet, and full of promise. So what happens now? Emily asked, echoing the question from months ago. Now we build something beautiful together. In business, in life, in love. Olivia smiled, her green eyes bright with joy. We've already proven we're pretty good at the impossible. Emily laughed. Starting with you offering a job to a stranger who helped you on the street? Starting with you choosing kindness when you had every reason to focus on yourself. As they held each other in the soft lamplight of Olivia's living room, Emily reflected on the incredible journey that had brought them here. A simple act of compassion had led to the love of her life, a career beyond her wildest dreams, and a future full of possibilities. Sometimes the most beautiful love stories began with the smallest gestures of human kindness. Sometimes losing what you thought you wanted led you to everything you never knew you needed. And sometimes, when you stopped to help a stranger, you found your soulmate. 1 year later, Emily stood at the altar of a small chapel in Central Park, wearing a flowing white dress and holding hands with the woman who had changed her life forever. As they exchanged vows in front of their families and friends, Emily thought about that morning when she'd chosen to help a stranger in a wheelchair. It had been the best decision of her life. I promise to love you through every challenge, to celebrate every triumph, and to choose kindness and compassion in all we do together, Emily said, her voice strong and clear. I promise to support your dreams, to be your partner in all things, and to never stop being grateful for the day you stopped to help me, Olivia replied, tears of joy streaming down her face. As they kissed to seal their marriage, Emily knew that their love story was just beginning. They had a company to run, dreams to chase, and a lifetime of adventures ahead of them. And it all started with a simple choice to be kind. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more incredible love stories. Hit that notification bell, and let us know in the comments what act of kindness changed your life. Sometimes the smallest gestures create the biggest miracles.